Today I will be reviewing the first season of the TV show White Collar. I had never heard of this TV show until a few weeks ago. I think maybe it was on Jimmy Fallon. Matt Bomer, the main character, right there. I think he might have been on Jimmy Fallon, or Conan O'Brien, or Jay Leno, or Jimmy Kimmel, or David Letterman, or Craig Ferguson, or one of those shows. I know it wasn't half those because I hate most of those guys. But I think it might have been Jimmy Fallon. He was on there, and they showed a little clip from the show, and they just kind of explained what the show was about. Sounded interesting, so I checked it out. I managed to get Season 1 on Blu-ray for $20. It was on sale at Best Buy. Usually it's $53 on Blu-ray because TV shows on Blu-rays in general, but TV shows are pretty expensive most of the time. And I was very happy I got it on the last day of the sale. Only $20. I think there's three discs. There's 20 episodes, which is pretty good for a first season because a lot of times, especially AMC shows, this isn't an AMC show, but channels like AMC have 6-episode seasons for the season 1. I find that whenever I'm trying to describe to someone what this show's about, I make it seem like it's just like the most boring show ever. But it's not, otherwise I wouldn't really be reviewing it, and I would very much be regretting buying this Blu-ray, even though it was only $20. But I'll tell you what it's about. Matt Bomer plays Neil Caffrey, a con man, forger, thief, and he's eventually captured after a 3-year cat-and-mouse game with FBI agent Peter Burke, and he's sent to prison. And while he's in prison, they don't really show this, it's just kind of like a thing that they kind of describe at the very beginning of the show in the first episode. And all this goes on maybe in the first 10 minutes of the episode, even less. Neil Caffrey's visited by his girlfriend all the time in prison, and then she just stops showing up. So then with 4 months left in his 4-year prison sentence, Neil Caffrey breaks out of a maximum security prison and then is caught right away again by Peter Burke. Neil Caffrey is sent back to jail, however this time he gives Peter Burke some information on a case that he's working on, and it leads to the resolution of this case. And so then this leads to Neil Caffrey convincing Peter Burke to release him. He gets put on an ankle bracelet, has to stay within a 2-mile radius in New York City, and he works as a consultant with the FBI, and he's basically partners with Peter Burke. Now this is very unconventional. I doubt this is like a 0.001 chance of ever happening to anyone, especially someone who is put in a maximum security prison. But they work together on the white collar unit, which is basically just like high status people, crime, stuff like that. That's essentially it. There's nothing really too complex. That's basically the general premise of the show. Neil Caffrey plays this guy who's kind of a ladies' man who always flirting, and he's very slick, he's very charming, whereas Peter Burke is somewhat awkward. He's married to Tiffany Thiessen. She plays his wife. You may know her from Saved by the Bell. Played Kelly there, and then she was also in Beverly Hills 90210. So those 3 people, and then one other guy, you may recognize him from a couple things. Mosey, who is played by Willie Garson. Probably doesn't ring a bell. Google him and you will recognize him for sure. So those are the 4 main characters in this show, and like I was saying, Peter Burke and Neil Caffrey are they're very black and white. Peter Burke is very awkward, and he's somewhat by the book, and then Neil Caffrey kind of rubs off on him, and they're kind of rubbing off on one another, and they're developing this odd kind of friendship and relationship as con man and FBI agent. I like the show because it's just interesting. It's somewhat unique. It's in its 3rd season now, and I just discovered it now. I love when that happens, when you discover a show when it's already been on for several seasons, because then you can just watch it non-stop. You don't have to, like at the end of this season there's a cliffhanger. I don't have to wait months and months. I can just watch 2nd season. It came out on DVD recently. Not on Blu-ray for some reason. I can watch it right away when I want to. I don't have to wait months and months to see what happens after that cliffhanger. Each episode, like CSI and Criminal Minds and CIS, shows like that, each episode has kind of a different case going on at the end of the episode, except maybe a couple where it continues to another episode. The case is resolved and everything like that, but there's one story where Neil's trying to find his now ex-girlfriend, I guess, and that's going on. So I don't really like that story a whole lot, but then it brings you up to the cliffhanger at the end of the season, which is alright, I guess. But in general, it's a very good show. It doesn't, like when I explain it to people, it just doesn't sound like a good show. Maybe it doesn't sound good to you at all, but I absolutely recommend watching a couple episodes. Watch at least 2 episodes and you'll love this show, because it is really good. I very much enjoy it. I hope that you very much enjoy it. Maybe you can find this on sale too. I don't like paying a lot of money, like $53 for 1 season of a show. $20 though, that was awesome. I would maybe even pay $30, maybe $40, but almost 60, like between 50, 60 bucks. That's a lot for a TV show, one season. You can also watch it online. Unethical, immoral, against the law, sort of. Not really. Nobody really cares as long as you're not distributing it. Hit it up. Why is this scratched? But yeah, hit it up. It's 3-disc set, complete first season. White Collar. Get it. Check it out. See you next week.